Welcome, everyone.
Welcome,
I'm Carlos
and I'm Carlotta.
from Faboratorium
We are here with Bryan Gottlieb, star in
of the show.
our star of the show for tonight. And well, we're so thankful for having you here, Bryan.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you to you both for having me back. It's a pleasure to talk with you again. We only got to speak very briefly when we were in Amsterdam. I was so busy and running around like a
Oh
madman.
no,
So
don't
it's nice
worry,
to
don't worry,
sit
don't
down
worry.
and
It's
talk
normal.
again.
I mean, that happens. Yeah,
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
comes with the responsibilities.
I suppose so. That's what they tell me. But one of these days, I will go to a Flesh and Blood event and just have a nice casual weekend and really enjoy myself. But probably not anytime soon. I always enjoy myself, but I'm always working very hard at them as well. So
I can
so
understand.
yeah. So if someone doesn't know yet,
Yeah, well, in
Bryan
case.
Gottlieb is senior game designer and lead developer for Flesh and Blood. And let's start
Yeah, we well,
with the
we
most
asked our
recent.
community, our Spanish community, if they had any questions for you, and they came up with some really nice questions, and well, lots of curiosities as well.
beautiful.
So
Sounds
What do
great.
we have?
well, to begin with, Armory Decks have been stirring the meta for some time now. They have been, I think, a very good launch for this
Yes.
year, and people are loving them, and well, they can't get enough of them, apparently.
Well,
Das.io was a huge launch, just coming
yeah,
from
this weekend.
from like 3 days ago, 4 days
Yeah.
ago, and they already made a big start, at least here in Spain at ProQuest,
Yeah.
having some DASs in
Yeah.
finals,
Top eight.
top eights and finals, yeah. And they wanted to know if there have been any conclusions dragged yet from this. If you
Yeah.
already see her as a potential, like, very strong hero.
Yeah, I think unquestionably, she's a huge part of the metagame going into Worlds. And we actually just got our data completed for the week of ProQuest, and
Mhm.
she did win 10 ProQuest this weekend. So, not quite a top tier performance,
Mhm.
but a good one, a really strong one. And I think, I believe 10 is the right number. Let me double check that actually, because I have the numbers right up in front of me. I'm in a position to actually give some breaking news here on
Well,
the cast. So we'll get it right. Maybe it's been shared yet. Maybe it hasn't. We'll see. Uh, yep. Here are these numbers. Beautiful. And it appears that this week Dash did win 10 ProQuest. So
Amazing.
that's that's a big uptick. Yeah, that's certainly an increase from where she was, but she's still sixth on the leaderboard there. She's behind
Wow.
Aurora, Enigma, Florian, Viserai, and New, and tied with Azalea. So I think there's a lot of fear around the Dash.io deck. Certainly some very powerful cards there, and some worries that maybe Dash.io just consumes the meta and becomes the deck. And I think as players have played against her more and more, what she's establishing is she probably has the highest ceiling in the game now. Like in terms of
yeah.
a spike turn and
Yeah.
a theoretical spike turn, she's right up there with Kano in my eyes in
Mhm.
terms of what she can actually do.
Yeah.
But she's got some weaknesses. She has that lower life total, vulnerability to a lot of on hits. Certainly, a lot of hands don't block all that well. And
Yeah.
it seems like she's going to take a place in the metagame, but not a dominant place. Now, obviously, our pro players could have something to say about
Yeah.
that when we head over to Osaka. Maybe they have some secret sauce figured out. But thus far, I'm really happy with where Dash.io has landed in this metagame. And I'm really happy with this metagame in general. We're
Mm.
3 weeks through ProQuest right now. And certainly there's some top targets. There's Aurora, there's Enigma, kind of unquestionably sitting
Yeah.
in that top tier. But there's
Yes,
a
there's two of
whole
them.
host of viable decks underneath that.
Mhm.
And we're seeing metagame percentages ebb and flow week to week. And it just feels very healthy right now. So it's been good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we're very happy to see lots of different heroes
yeah,
at the tables,
and
honestly.
classes as well,
In
like
different classes, yeah.
illusionist,
Yeah.
room blades,
Yeah.
assassin.
Yeah,
And now
yeah,
mechanologist, even ranger with Azalea, still
Yeah.
still
getting
trying.
wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's a great meta
I
right
think it's
now.
perfect. I mean, 10 wins is like okay, she's winning, but she's not winning like 30 or 40.
All of a sudden, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
taking all of the share.
or not
Yeah.
winning at all. So I think it's a right balance there. She can be also fatigue, kind of some decks can fatigue her. So
Yeah, we'll see what happens with a little bit more of practice as well, right?
yeah,
Because she just started.
yes,
So let's see how it goes. And
Yeah, I mean, we know that practice is so important in Flesh and Blood,
mm,
right? Familiarity with
absolutely.
matchups, specialists, they tend to shine. So, as people get more reps, we'll see how it evolves.
Yeah. We're definitely going
yeah,
to be there to see what happens.
yeah.
And speaking of Armory Decks, another one was just announced. We're speaking about Jarl, of course. And well, Ice is kind of making a comeback.
Hmm.
Kind of. I mean, it's true that it's not the usual form of ice that that we are already familiar
Yeah.
to, but yeah, I mean, people are getting overexcited,
Yeah.
at least here in Spain, and well, they wanted to know if there are any plans to like to see Jarl as a young hero as well, if there are any plans of going on with this new ice kind of form for the next year.
Hmm. So, no young Yurl thus far. I'll, never say never, but
Mhm.
right now, no young Yurl. Um, as far as whether this is what ice looks like going forward, I wouldn't say that certainly. I think for Jarl, this was the right implementation of ice. It tells a really beautiful, flavorful story. And I think when you see all the pieces of the Jarl Armory deck, it just feels like one of our more cohesive hero packages. Everything feeds into each other really well. It leads to a very specific playstyle and one that's in line with the hero's history, which is very cool to see. Of course, Hero was
Mm.
introduced on Mangle for the first time and paying homage to that particular effect throughout Jarl's kit these days. So I hope people really do enjoy Jarl. I think having the honor of being the first hero introduced via Armory deck is a special thing. And in Jarl's case, it's a deserving thing because this is a hero that tells just a really beautiful story in a really small Armory deck package. I am quite interested to see what the reintroduction of ice does to the metagame.
Mm.
We had some
Yeah.
time without it. Certainly, it was something a lot of people asked for. I
Yes.
don't know if they're going to ask for it as rapidly the next time as they did the last time. We did always have this vision of we would let the metagame accelerate for a while and
Mm.
let aggro sort of do its thing unimpeded. And I won't say we had the vision to go maybe as far as aggro did during some points in this metagame, but we did want to let things speed up a little bit and be a little faster. And the plan was always to have that progression upward and then introduce a hero like Yurl that can maybe level things out a
Mm.
little bit. And obviously it's, still very, very early in the Yurl reveal process, but there's more cards to come. And I'm very excited to see his effect on really deck building in general. Like so much deck building has trended towards
Yeah.
red line builds and
Mhm.
maybe yellow line builds, but blues may be a little underappreciated in the present meta, which is cool. It's nice to have those varying ebbs and flows, but I like sort of having to respect the frostbite one more time once Jarl enters the metagame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yes, speaking of how the meta game is going to change and how it could well affect all the pro players,
Mhm.
we have Worlds coming up like real soon, like in
Mm-hmm.
Next.
one week and a
Yeah.
half,
Yeah.
and not even. So they wanted to know, our friends, our
Yeah.
community wanted to know if you have maybe like a personal favorite. I know it's very hard to name names, but like a favorite hero or a favorite, even a player that you think that could shine, especially.
I always do. And, usually I have to put my dreams of my favorite heroes winning the event on the shelf because traditionally they have been weaker heroes, like, say, Azuri, which somehow won the last Pro Tour. Also been a huge Viserai fan for a long time, which was nowhere in the metagame over the last few Pro Tours. These days, though, maybe you get to see one of my favorite heroes do something special down in the feature match area this coming Worlds weekend. So I definitely have my eye on Viserai as a hero I really love. I love playing Viserai. I love watching Viserai. I think that flavor of Runeblade just has always spoken to me ever since I found Flesh and Blood. Always rooting a little bit for the assassin class, but I don't want to be greedy. I just had an Azuri win. I would love to see Shoma do something back to back, but Shoma's been playing everything lately. He's been playing some Florian, I believe, playing some Viserai as well. So as much as I would love to see Shoma repeat, I don't know necessarily that it'll be on the back of another assassin this go around. But there is new out there lurking. You know, I mentioned those ProQuest finishes, new tied for Viserai for fourth place this particular week. So continues to take up lots of meta share. So a lot of my favorite heroes are very much in the meta right now. As far as favorite players, I guess I have a lot of favorites and I love so many members of our community. But since I am here with you folks, how could I not call out what Pablo Pintor is doing recently? Obviously, just won Calling Leon, has that incredible Pro Tour resume as well. Last time I was asked this question, I did pick Nick Butcher to win the event, but you know, I'm always a homer. Like I'm hanging out with my Spanish crew. We're going to go ahead and give shout outs to Spain. And I'm going to keep my eye on Pablo Pintor for this particular event.
We really appreciate it. We were there. We were there for the Leon calling. It was amazing. It was
he played so
an
beautifully.
incredible
He always
final.
plays beautifully, but I mean, he just does things with decks that you know, it feels like no other player on the planet can do, and he does it across so many different heroes. I feel like what Pablo is playing is always a point of discussion around the office because he is willing to play anything, and he does it all so well.
Yeah, we've watched the live 5th anniversary stream that you did with the Armory video with
It was amazing. It created a huge impact in our community. Everyone was commenting, like, "Oh, impossible, the impossible line and everything." Yeah, it was such a fun.
Yeah, it was such a good illustration. Shout out to my friends at 3 Floating who put that together. But it did show off the global nature of the game and how you can, you know, make a name for yourself from any part of the globe. Obviously, Pablo has become a superstar in this space. You know, winning tournaments in America for a game designed in New Zealand, coming from Spain, shared that commercial space alongside the rest of the Sunflower Samurai, as well as, you know, Brody from the US and Yuki from Canada. So just showing how far the global reach of this game has truly gotten.
Yeah, I think Pablo started a trend here in Spain.
Yeah.
I think many players started getting to know Flesh and Blood playing because of Pablo winning the first Pro Tour ever.
Yeah.
So I think he still plays ProQuest, Armories when he can. He does the podcast with the Sunflower Samurai.
One of the recurring comments from people like, "Oh, that was exactly my Armory event, my first Armory event." Like, like I could have been Jacob because that happened to me. I was at an Armory and suddenly it was like, oh, that was the guy who won the first Pro Tour ever, and people were getting super excited. So yeah,
it's cool what that does for a community, though. You know, it gives everyone a hero to kind of like congeal around and to root for, and for everyone to have the same rooting interest. And when it's somebody like Pablo, who is such you know, a welcoming person and such a good guy, it just does so much for our community. So I'm really happy for Spain to have that champion in their midst.
Absolutely, he's our macho grande. He will kill me for saying this. But still, still trying to convince him to cosplay Bravo at some point.
Yeah,
that would be
a good
amazing.
fit. Yeah, it's a good fit.
We're trying.
We will try, yeah. And talking about growth, about making our community grow, about making this game even bigger. People wanted to know if there was any kind of like forecast for the growth of Flesh and Blood in 2024. so far? Like
Yeah, so we
we're
shared
not
on
quite
the
completely.
we shared on the 5th anniversary stream that right before we went live with that, we were able to get, we have analytics around these things, and we were able to share the information that the previous month had our most unique players we had ever had participate in a tournament, and it also had the most entries as well. So the tournament scene is just blossoming all around the world. We're adding new regions all the time. Mexico just got onboarded recently, and I'm already hearing from fans down in Mexico who are so excited to start their Armory journey. I'm sure it won't be long before we're seeing great Mexican players at events around the world. Of course, what they're doing in South America, in Brazil, a huge scene burgeoning down there. Just their battle hard numbers are absolutely massive. Their ProQuest numbers are massive. They're already putting great champions like Felipe Lima Cardozo into top 8s around the world. Like, just an incredible show from that community. And there's so many more like that. Even like South Korea. South Korea just had their first nationals, and very well attended. And, you know, not to be overly generalized, but typically TCGs in South Korea haven't been massive. They're certainly present, but they haven't had the huge cultural footprint as, you know, maybe things like more competitive forms of gaming. Obviously, StarCraft, League of Legends, massive there. And it feels like TCGs have always taken this back seat, but good things happening with the South Korean scene as well. So as far as forecasting, like, we just kind of take the numbers as they come. I don't know that we have predictions, but obviously we're adding new regions. We're hitting new totals all the time. Things just look very good, and I'm happy to see them growing the way they are.
Yeah, funnily enough, we have a friend. We do have a friend from our community who is married to this amazing Mexican girl. So they took the chance of, they were going to Mexico to see family and everything. So they took the chance to go to Tampa first. They went for the world premiere. Then
Nice.
now they are there, like, farming people from Mexico to play Flesh and Blood, like creating community there, playing armories everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy. And now they are heading to Worlds. So
Beautiful.
Japan.
Beautiful.
And yeah, we miss them.
Yeah.
A shout out for them, because they're missed, and we'll see them in January.
Yeah, when they come back.
When they come back. Yeah.
Showing what's possible through a global game, right? They're bringing Flesh and Blood all over the world.
Exactly.
They're traveling all over the world, and you know, I think seeing people live that dream, it's going to inspire folks in Mexico the same way it inspires people in Spain. You really can make something special out of your time with Flesh and Blood, and more places are doing that for sure.
Yeah, play the game, see the world, right?
Yeah.
We love that motto.
Yeah.
And speaking of of new players, of people coming people green to the game, right? Like we said with for the Rosetta, green to Fab. And people are asking about, like, if there are any plans to boost other formats, like more casual formats or economic formats, like, for example, Commoner. We have seen that there was a battle hardened already. That was Commoner, that was already planned. And also Class, because some people are like liking very much this community or fan-based new trend that came out in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're always looking for space for new formats. We have to be very judicious. We don't want to spread too far and kind of fracture our player base. But as you mentioned, we do have the Commoner Battle Hardened coming up in Portland. As far as more social play type things, UPF, we're working on it. I promise we are not done with attention to that side of things. Of course, we had the very successful collaboration with Tolarian Community College. We had that box set come out, very UPF focused.
We love that one.
Yeah,
we certainly that is not the end of our UPF dalliances. There will be more in the future, I can promise that. But like I said, we have to be judicious. We have to let things kind of evolve naturally. And you're seeing some of the first steps of that with a Living Legend calling coming up in Chicago at the end of this year, which I think, you know, we're going to have to see how the community turns up for that. We have to know, like, is there this appetite for these alternate formats? So what I'll say to fans, things like this are important to you, it's critical you show up and voice that, because it does it represents a risk for us. If we run an event in a format that we don't really know if the buy-in's 100% there, like we can always go out and have a great Classic Constructed event. We know we have fans all over the world who are dying to play Classic Constructed. Can we go out and have a massive Commoner event? Can we go out and have a massive Living Legend event? We don't really know yet. We don't know what's going to happen. So we're willing to take some risks, but it does come back around to the community to some extent to really be champions for those formats they love and make sure that folks are showing up.
Yeah, well, that's why you started recently with the skirmish as well, skirmish season with Living Legend, for example.
Correct.
Last season.
Yeah.
I think they here in
got
Spain
some response,
yeah.
Yeah, people really liked the initiative, honestly.
Yeah, well, they love to play again with
Some heroes.
Open.
Yeah, you miss
they're
these
beloved
heroes when
ones.
they leave the game. You want to have another dalliance with them. And I think it's critical that Living Legend offers that. So big focus on that format for us right now. But there's other formats out there that also deserve and will get our attention as time goes on. But there's so many things you want to do, and you want to do them all at once. And I have to be stopped a lot of the time for pushing for, let's do this. It's like, slow down. We will do it all. And it's correct. You can't take on everything at once.
Yeah.
So, in some instances, baby steps, but we are always paying attention to these other formats.
Okay. And what about PvE?
PvE. That's always the same.
What about PvE? Yeah.
I think
games.
Get
asked a lot about PvE. I do not have an update to offer on PvE. That is something that both James and I hear all the time, but you're going to have to get updates on that from him.
It's okay. But we had to ask because they were also very interested.
Yeah, I think there's a part of the community.
Yeah, like really into the idea of getting the PvE version. But it's okay. I mean, we know that you'll make the wait worth it. We are sure.
That is what I will always point to is we're not going to just release something because we said we will release it. Like, that's a bad reason to make a product. We're going to make a product if we have a great product, and it's not going to come until it's a great product, and we don't have that right now. So that's where we're at.
I really respect that approach, honestly. Yeah. And talking about making people sad. We do have to address the bonds situation.
Katsu players.
The Katsu affair.
I understand.
Well, ninja players are kind of sad right now. And they wanted to know.
Hold on. I have beef with the ninja players. They can be a little sad. That's okay. I'll allow that. But I see people be like, Ninja's dead. You can't play Ninja.
Oh no, it's not that. It's not that.
That's false. Like Zen is still a very good deck. In fact, I picked Zen as my choice to win Worlds. I don't know if I still feel that with all my heart, but like it's a good dark horse pick for this event, and it has some really nice matchup spreads. And I know there's some other folks out there in the community who also feel strongly about Zen. So Ninja is trending down a little bit. Katsu particularly got hit really hard by the bonds ban. You can call it collateral damage, but we were very clear in our article. I did not like the effect that bonds was having on Katsu either. And yes, Katsu was not succeeding at the level of Zen, but if Zen were not present, is Katsu just the next problem up? Maybe. Like, there's some argument to be made for that. So we've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit with Katsu. We will do so. These things, again, just take time. And I understand that's sometimes hard. You want it now. I want it now. I want to deliver it now. But, production schedule being what it is, it takes time to get things back into the meta. And we will do so.
Yeah, I mean, some of us have been there and some of us are still there. Like, he's a Reiner player.
Yeah.
He does understand what happens when when you can't really fight back. And I have been an Azalea player since pre-Outsiders. that was a very tough time.
Yeah.
And there was
I have a
no
giant arachne painting hanging on the walls of my office. Like nobody suffers more than I do. I understand. I have been through it. I know what it's like.
you
Yeah.
It's
we
tough.
know you
I
know.
get it. But when that moment comes, when we finally have our glorious arachne uprising, it's going to feel really good.
Yeah,
That is
definitely.
yeah, that is
That's
incredible.
what happened with you, for
That
example,
was
with
incredible.
Azalea,
It was
right?
also the first set we were translating
Translating, yeah, outsiders.
for the Spanish, for the Spanish version, and it was
Outsiders
just
for us
incredible. It
is
was huge. It was
it's a
huge.
huge part of
I couldn't believe it. I was
Ranger,
absolutely.
Assassin, Ninja. It
I,
was.
I can imagine the feeling getting to translate those cards and seeing them for the first time and just being like, oh, my hero is legit now. Like this is a very, very good hero.
Like we could be up to something here. I didn't understand to which extent, because honestly,
Mhm.
I hadn't been playing for that
Yeah,
long or
at that
that
time. Yeah.
competitive
Sure. And you're
for that
doing
long.
work in that
Yeah, because
moment as
maybe
well. You can't really focus on the strategic aspects of it, right? You need to get the
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
translation.
I couldn't really understand yeah, the impact
yeah.
of it, the impact that it was going to have. But I knew that we were getting support, so I was absolutely ecstatic. Like, wow.
Yeah. I think we didn't even get the 3 copies of Codex of Frailty right after the set. I
Oh
think
no,
we didn't know
no, we
if
didn't
the
know.
card was
Yeah.
We never
that
knew that it
strong,
was going to. Yeah,
and then it's
yeah, and we
night
were
time.
like, oh my goodness,
Yes, we need to
what
buy
are we going to
it.
do with this? Yeah,
Yep.
that was bad. Also, still in love with the Marvel versions of it.
Oh, the Codex.
And I still
Yeah.
we don't have them because they are too good and too expensive.
Yeah, I got
Well, it
mine
goes
very
hand in
I
hand,
was
usually.
fortunate. Like I'm gonna play these cards a lot, so we'll just go ahead and make them pretty.
Yeah.
Well, they are amazing. They are amazing, absolutely.
We still we have
10 minutes,
10
10 more
minutes.
minutes. And well, we are approaching the well, we have talked about Living Legend and people enjoying their beloved heroes in that format, but there is a lot of asking about Dromai. And as an Azalea player, I'm not enjoying this question, but no, just joking. But yeah, there are lots of people that are waiting for the return of the Empress,
Empress.
right?
Yeah, I am sure that is true. I don't have any information to share with them at this time, but good things come to those who wait. And we know how many fans of Dromai there are out there. And you know, for the time being, go play Living Legend. Dromai's fine choice there. I think you'll enjoy your games quite a bit playing some Dromai, and given enough time, everything comes back around, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the expansion slot in every set with the dust for the dragons and everything. So
There's some hope
something is coming.
there.
And
Feels like there's
some
something
hope.
cooking, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. With each one of them, there has been some talks.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, people want to know about this. There was a lot of asking about pirates when Outsider came out for the first time, and then
People are so
right?
concerned
It's
about
crazy.
pirates. I don't know why this is such a point of fixation. Like, yeah, there's some
It's because of
vaguely
the trench,
pirate-looking
obviously.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
I
mean,
don't.
the
People have
art of
just
the
said to
trench
me,
was incredible.
yeah, it's piratey looking. People have just said to me, just like, oh, pirates are coming. They're a class. This next set is definitely pirates. And I'm like, there's some piratey looking guys. Like, why are you all so adamant about this?
It's
It's
true.
funny how much
It's
they
pirates.
Pirates. Yeah, I mean,
And
I guess I didn't realize there were this many pirate fans out there. I guess like I didn't realize people were so
I think
there
there
are.
are. Yeah.
And we can only hope for a necromancer style kind of pirate,
Yeah.
like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Why don't we just put everything that everyone always asks for into one ball? We'll make a pirate, necromancer, cleric. What else do people always ask for? Dromai. It could be Dromai doing all of these things.
Yeah,
like,
alchemist, exactly.
alchemist.
Druid.
Make everyone happy in one shot.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
I mean, that's Sienna, right?
Oh my goodness. No, don't get me started. I can't. She's
I
my
still remember
she's
the
my
conversation
she's my
about the
favorite.
adult Sienna.
Yeah.
ETD.
Yeah. She's my favorite character. She was the first character I cosplayed for Worlds at my first contest. I really love her, and well, I
feel
can
like
I
she's
can
really
take
good in Blitz right now, for what it's worth.
Of
Yeah.
course, and she's getting better. And
Yeah.
she's
She
getting
always
better.
just gets better, constantly getting better. Yeah.
She will, yeah. She will go from
You always
nothing
tell, yeah,
to
you always say,
just
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
blow
Arc
up.
lightning seems like a pretty big deal, honestly. So
Absolutely. And last but not least, people are asking about, if Rabo is going to come back for the fight, like if there are going to be tools
With
against
the
the illusionist with the new Guardian set,
mastery pack.
the mastery pack that is coming.
there are I'll just say yes. Like there are certainly cards designed to tighten up the illusionist matchup for Guardians when Mastery Pack comes along. Like certainly we know that's a weak point. It's an intended weak point. Like that's not supposed to be solved. You are supposed to have a hard time against illusionists, but there's some space for matchups to get a little bit closer. And we are certainly exploring those type of cards that we can offer for Guardians in the future.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great news.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be thrilled.
Yeah. I'm sure. I hear that question a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's it,
that's
right?
the B. Yeah. That it's been amazing as always. So thankful.
No, my pleasure. I love checking in with you both, and I'm happy to do so. I'm happy to check in with all the Flesh and Blood fans in Spain, and I thank them all for making a wonderful community to play great games in the Flesh and Blood in Spain, and for lending us your most fearsome pro players to come and dominate tournaments all around the world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see Worlds and what happens there.
We'll be
watching. Absolutely. And can't wait for Prague as well.
For Prague, yeah.
That's our next
hopefully
pin
see you there.
Calendar event, and hopefully we'll see
Sounds
you there.
great. It sounds great. I'm going to do my best to make it there.
Perfect.
Great. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much again.
And
You're welcome.
have a nice day over there.
A nice week as well. We're going to sleep right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good night. Thank you for staying up late with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no.
My pleasure.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Bryan.
No worries.